And we don't know where that harvest will come out, but it will come out. God is not, he's not a liar. He doesn't owe. He says he doesn't owe anybody anything. So it will come out. And you don't even know why he's telling you to do what he's telling you to do. But one day it will become clear. Hey everybody, my name is Angie Murenga. You're watching Just Angie. It's Lifestyle Thursday, and we continue a conversation with Doris and Joanne on Startup and what the vision behind what they're doing. Wow. So we've discussed family, creativity. You're the risk taker. You're the one who's giving everything away. Somehow God has, by His grace, created a balance and allowed the business to move. But there's been a lot of growth. So I don't know what it is that you would want to share on this Lifestyle Thursday that you sense would help somebody. People who are in business, people who want to start a business. What would you say to them?
I think for starters, it's important for people to let God lead the process.
Okay.
From where we started, when we started, we had seats enough to seat 20 people. And we were very happy with those. And I remember our first gig was after maybe 3 months, I think.
Really?
Yes.
Of making the
seats. Yeah, we're like, okay, so
and advertising and marketing and putting the children.
Yes, we're like, okay, so yeah, here are the seats. We got our first gig in December of that year, 2012.
Was it exciting?
Yes. It was exciting. And let me tell you, when we got the money, we divided the cash between the two of us. We were waiting for that money. We divided half and half. We were
amazing.
So happy. And then we sat and waited. Yes. Until maybe March again, we got one more gig. So from December, one more gig. And I'm talking about a gig that can sit the 20.
Yes. The 20 people, because that's your capacity.
Yes. And then from there, we got one gig, we were very happy. And then I think we had one more in August. And we increased the seats slightly.
I think your wedding.
It was my wedding. So actually we had a lounge at my wedding.
Wow.
So we increased a few more seats because we created
a
lounge
to get
area
30
for people to sit.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So my wedding was the third client. And then I think it was from there that the business now started to gain traction. So it was no longer you're waiting for 3 months. The business now started to grow. So from a point where we had furniture to sit 20, Doris has the numbers of how many people we can sit on each bleachers.
Yeah,
if on the different creative elements.
Yeah, if we sit total sitting, I think we are sitting about 2,000 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Everything.
So we are able to do different events at the same time. We can do 2 events, 3 events, 4 events, 5 events. But what I would want to also add on to someone who's starting business, it's not automatic and it's not sudden.
Yeah.
Because I remember when we started, when we had those in between, in fact, we would be promised an event 3 months down the lines. Like the next event isn't, and we would be so happy. So we'd take our furniture and would wrap it up nicely and wait for the 3 months. Actually, the first 2 months, it was really slow. But we never gave up. And we were happy and, we just increased to 50 people. And then we also reinvested a lot. So every time, that's why we've actually grown on reinvesting.
Yes.
Yeah. So we just put back all the money. When the money comes in, we just put it back. Okay. And then the other thing that has helped is that also we have very good staff.
Your staff are amazing.
Yes.
Because I have met them
Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
Yes. Our staff is amazing. And then also because we learned, it's good to trust, you know, to trust your staff enough to do the job, you know, without, because the way we have grown now, we're not able to be in all the events at the same time and do all the quotations and do the invoices.
You can't.
Yeah, so you have to treat your staff well and let them do the job. And you know, and our staff, they do the job actually like it's their own company.
They do, and they are able to deliver. And I
they're
remember
able to deliver.
Coming once, and some have been with you for a long time.
Yes.
And I was going to say, but that's a reflection on the two of you. There's definitely a way and a style that you run your business that they feel comfortable, they feel like they are part of the business,
Yes.
and they work as if it's their own, because it's the truth. You know, it really is. I've seen people do set downs, and I used to watch your stuff and say, my goodness, there's something very different about the way they are, the way they represent themselves, and the way that they understand that they're representing your brand.
Yes.
They are very proud of your brand, and you can tell. You can tell. We know when people are setting up, it's okay. When they set down, hey, they can even throw you out of the real movie. But these guys are so polite.
Yeah.
They're very consistent. I think
Yes.
that's another thing that they are, is very
Yes.
consistent. It must be a reflection
Yeah.
on you and how you have treated them and how you have handled
Yes,
them.
yes.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we also tell them that we really can't afford to lose one client.
Yes.
You know, if you lose a client, it's very hard to get that client back. Like, do you go and tell them now we have changed? Because you don't know why they left. So we have to be consistent in whatever we do. So our clients have to be happy. So usually we are very happy when our clients give us feedback and tell us, you know, your staff was great. And so we also tell them, you know. And
You give them the feedback.
we give them
as
the
well.
feedback, yeah. Immediate. Like when the client says, we just tell them, you know, good job. Client is very happy with this delivery at this place. Client is very happy with this person. Yeah.
Yeah, but I must also bring back the God angle. I'm just thinking,
Yes.
the fact that God spoke and it's His vision and you're executing it on His behalf, then by His grace He allows all things to align.
Yes.
Yeah, and then you transitioned from work into now the business,
I
because she was
did.
initially looking after the business.
Yes.
So how did you come to that point?
She'd grown the business to a point where I was, you know, blessed to live and, you know, not start from scratch, which is a lot of what happens with other people.
Yes.
But she'd done it, because I left in 2019, she'd done it for 7 years.
Wow.
And I was only available at certain times because my job was very, very hectic.
Very demanding.
And
yes.
therefore she'd been able to do everything by herself. One of the things I remember was very clear is I worked in an amazing organization. My employer was absolutely fantastic. But I felt there was an urge to do some things in a different way, and I felt God was now giving an opportunity. You have amazing ideas. Here is a platform.
Wow.
The job where the business that you started. Why don't you go and start it there? One of the things that I feel has been that people need to understand is sewing is a very important thing to do if you're in business. People call it sewing, people will call it giving, whatever the terms that people want to call it. But for us, the kind of exponential growth that we've faced in this business is purely by God's grace.
That is so true.
Yeah.
And when you understand the principle of seed time and harvest
time.
when you understand it, you run with it. I mean, I remember there is an event that we were sewing into. It was a big event, and we were sewing all our furniture. And the two biggest organizations in Kenya were the ones running with that event, and they had the money
To pay.
everything.
Yeah.
And Doris went up to them and said, because your event aligns with what we are doing, we would like to sew 100%. And someone called her on the side and said, you know, these people, they have the money to pay. Yeah,
You see,
una,
there's always a Kenyan
Yeah.
who
You're
calls
going
somebody.
to spoil
Yeah,
them.
that you're going to spoil
yeah,
them.
you're going to
Yeah,
spoil
so
them.
you're going to spoil
Yeah,
them.
unawaribu. Maybe charge them 50%.
Yeah.
And I remember later she talked to me and said, you know, people need to understand the principle of sewing. Kingdom principles.
Yes,
It's a core kingdom principle.
It's a core kingdom
It's a
principle.
core kingdom principle. And for us, I think, for me, I communicated it with Doris. One of the times when we'd come to the retreat, the KBS retreat that we do annually, where we reflect about where we are in life and what God is saying, God communicated very clearly and said, this business is a ministry.
It is.
And when we look back, there are a lot of things that we can do. First of all, we give our seats a lot, but we have a very soft spot for ministry events. A soft spot where it is impossible to pass up that opportunity
Yeah.
to bless. And I remember there was a time when you interviewed SK Blue, and he said, people, especially the youth, they hear with their eyes.
Yes.
And I took that and ran with it. We took it and ran with it. And we felt when I come to an event as a young person and you're ministering to me about the abundance of God's grace, we as Tarab want the person to feel the abundance in the room.
And they usually do.
And they do.
They
and that's,
really
that's,
do.
that's a thing that we care for passionately.
Yes. And I think that's a very good lesson, because also sowing is not about it's not about giving those who do not have. Because that's a very good example. But you had God, you felt it in your spirit, you were both in agreement, and you did it. And of course, the distraction must come and say, oh, don't do this. No, you do what is in your heart. And you know, we don't know where that harvest will come out, but it will come out. God is not, he's not a liar. He doesn't owe. He says he doesn't owe anybody anything. So it will come out. And you don't even know why he's telling you to do what he's telling you to do. But one day it will become clear. And that is just what you need to do. And that's another thing, because you don't always have to give towards those who do not have. I think giving is by instruction. Sowing is by instruction. And for me myself personally, you've made me look absolutely amazing. People walk in and they're like, what happened? And you see, that's another thing, because coming from the marketplace, I was always taught excellence. Everything you do with excellence. And I was like, I'm not going to go into the kingdom of God. Those are conversations I used to have with him, and not display your excellence. I mean, it says that you're majestic, you have the splendor. That's the splendor I want to be associated with you, not mediocrity. I don't want to be involved in mediocrity. And I think that's a blessing that you have. And it causes it's for discernment as well, because then again, it's not, you don't have to give everything, because you still have to run a business. And therefore you have to know when you're giving, when you're sowing, what is God saying, how is he speaking, and that is also something that's very, very important. But for me, I love it, and we pray. We pray and say, may the Lord bless you. May he increase your business. You did a PLF at very different times. I didn't even know that she was your sister. It was a long time.
7.
Yeah, I think so. Single digit numbers. And then you did, I think, was it 22 or something like that? So many years later. But I'm always grateful for the seed, because that's another thing. God knows what he's doing. God knows what he's working, how he's working it, and what he's doing, because I've seen it in our lives. And I've seen it in our relationship, that God is at work. Our work is just to flow and to follow after what he's telling us to do. So I really love that, and I'm really grateful for that. And thank you that you gave her the opportunity to transition after 7 years, because it's not easy to transition into business. I'm sure you still miss a certain aspects about work, but going into business is also exciting. And we're really waiting to see what the next level is going to be.
So exciting. And I just wanted to add that two people that I personally, and I think for her as well, have been very instrumental when you think about giving, because sometimes it's you have an opportunity for somebody else who wants to pay for the same item, but you choose not to take. And one of them was our mom. She's our late mom. She passed on a while back. But from when we were very young, she used to tell us, you can't just go to somebody's house, even if it's your friends. Carry at least ball gum. Don't go throwing your hands about, not carrying anything. That was somebody who was very instrumental, and it's something that we've carried today, where you feel you have to outstretch your hand, and that's the same way you receive. But then you're also another one. You are one person who will give almost up to the clothes on your back for others, and we've learned that from you, and I think it's something, you're someone to be celebrated.
Thank you
just
so
the
much,
way you've really inspired us, and the way you've shown for sure, if God has said, we are doing it, and do it with a cheerful heart, because you always do it with a cheerful heart.
I really thank God. Thank you so much. And I thank God for your mom who taught you those principles. That's very, very, it's such a powerful lesson. And you know, even with my daughter, we're always fighting with Althea, because she's like, Mom, if you give one more thing away, if she threatens.
And you give the best.
Yeah, but you have to give. And then she's the same one who comes and tells me, you know, Mom, you're blessed because you give. I say, so decide, which one is it? Am I blessed because I give, or am I not supposed to give anymore? But it's because I think sometimes there's what you're giving and they're like, God, clearly you cannot give again, but you do. And I think my premise is, for God so loved the world that he gave his only son. He didn't even have another son. It was not a tenth of a son. It was not one out of, it was his only son. And giving has blessed me so much in ways ways that I cannot imagine. And it always comes back, a good measure pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And it surprises you. Because I always say I gave you a gift without even know. I didn't know it was a gift. Who knew that was a gift? And the next time she gave me a stadium, I was like, what happened? You remember that day? I walked into the room and I walked backwards. Because I had given a brief of white chairs. Were they with white tables? But I walked in and I found a stadium. And I was so like, wow. And one of my moments, because it's a learning moment, is that even when I gave, I didn't know I was giving you anything. It was just like, okay, that's it, that's done.
You know, and you know, that time I really needed, like, I didn't have anything. You know, I had, you know, something I had started that didn't go well. In fact, I lost friends at that time. So really I didn't have. So even to pay for that class, you know, it's like, I'll pay sometime. Then Pastor Angie said, you know what, it's okay. Just leave it. Just leave it.
But it's amazing.
You know,
look at how it came back. The gift came back multiplied, Doris.
Like, you know, it's a very emotional thing for me, because I know there are many people also who are in those kinds of situations, and you feel like, hey, from here, I don't even know how I'm going to go. And someone will just bless you and move on. And then after some time, you're like, see what God has done. Because, you know, because I would have said, you know, I don't have money to pay for that class, so I'm not going to do it. But, you know, see the principles we learned, you know, until now, since that was in 2013.
Imagine.
It was in 2013.
I really love it. And I love that paying it forward, and the seed that you're sowing today, you don't know how it's going to come out. And I know we didn't talk about it, but one of the other things I love is about I remember once I was talking, the strategy of your organization to work through partners, and that there's no greed. I was absolutely amazed. I remember one day, I was actually with you, and you met somebody who you could have surpassed. You could have gone past your partners? Because people get the event, and then now they contract you to supply the goods. And there was an opportunity to overstep.
The opportunity
but
was there.
I'll never forget, Joanne, you taught me that day.
Wow.
You did. And you said, no, it's okay, we'll work through our partners. And I went reflecting, and I think I even asked you, what was that about? And you said, no, you're good to work with your partners. And you see, greed is something that can destroy people in business. So I think you need to know your lane and stay in your lane. And be consistent.
Actually, I think one of the two things that I know I've learned from Doris in running this business, she got a very clear download about sticking to specifically furniture. That was one of the downloads that she got.
Good.
But the other one was also, this, what you're talking about was a download. And she called me and told me about it, that we are to work as suppliers. It was a very clear download.
Through partners, through people who already get the business, but we just supply them. That's amazing.
So our clients are not the big names that are known that would generally use the furniture. Those are not our clients. And those are not the people that we go out of our way to provide the service. We provide the best we can to the event organizers, and then we make them look good. And even when the client comes on site, we don't behave as if we own that furniture. We are there wiping, cleaning,
because it's
because the client,
they're the people to take the client.
Because the client,
our clients are the ones who shine.
But you see, unfortunately, that's not happening today. You see, it's not. People want to come outshine you. Oh, you thought you knew them? Even me, I know them. You know, they want to come and undercut you. Overstep boundaries. So I think that's a very. I'm very impressed with that culture.
Thank you.
I am. I'm very impressed with that culture. Stick to your lane. These people have contracted you. You are not the be all and end all of everything. Stick to that lane. I thought that was, for me that day, you taught me a lesson. You really did, and it was very practical. Like there's no greed. Because immediately greed comes. Escape blue. I know how you like escape blues and teachings. Immediately greed enters. That's what causes all the problems that we have. Because now you're greedy. Now you're trying to be the one.
Do everything.
You want to one who knows the client. That now I have direct access to the client. But you've spoiled so many things.
And now you become direct competition now with your client.
Imagine. That's what she told me.
You become competition.
We cannot compete with my
so
clients.
Everybody has their own. So we are suppliers. We are happy. Event managers, have their space. Agencies have their space. So we just deal with them. Like we'll do a lot of events. We'll do a lot of corporate events. Many. But I'm sure they don't even know us. they'll know it's a good job, but the agencies and the suppliers and the event managers have delivered for them. So for us, is to make the agency and supplier and the event managers to look good.
Yes.
Yeah. So we can't undercut them and decide, now we can go direct, and do it, because that's not our line.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful that you stuck to that line, and I pray that somebody out there is learning, because the strategy is not always to get ahead. The strategy is to stick to what God told you and how this best works according to his plan.
Yes.
Because I was also saying many things start well but don't finish well. And we usually say that term maybe in ministry and terms like that, but even in business, the business doesn't finish well because you started with God. Now you've become too big. Now you are even thinking your own things. You're not still going back to reference this God. What did God say? Can we stick to it? That day, you taught me a lesson of 1,000 years. I was like, that's wisdom.
Yeah.
I'm not going to run ahead. And the opportunity was right there before you, because the corporate leader was right there asking, how can I help you?
Yes.
Yeah.
And your feedback was, no, it's okay. We'll work through our partners.
Yes.
Absolutely amazing. So integrity
It's key. It's
is
very
so key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's key to delivering on the business.
Yes.
Yeah.
And sticking to your lane.
Yes.
And sticking to what God
Stick
said
to your
first.
lane, yes, and do it perfectly, because even then you will have a clear mind of what you're doing, because you're not thinking about too many other things. So for us, we're just thinking about the next design. As long as somebody can sit, where is that person going to sit? So we are just creating solutions for sitting.
Wow.
Yeah.
And making your clients look good.
And making our clients look
And making
good.
the event look amazing.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
I think, yes, just to add to what she's saying, and maybe she can elaborate further, even the idea of purely just doing furniture, because a lot of people will ask,
Yes.
oh, but why can't you do tents?
Yeah.
Why
Yes.
can't you do lights?
Yeah.
Why can't you
Tents,
do
lighting,
all manner
sound.
of things?
Yeah.
Maybe that's something you can talk about.
Yes, it's very easy to be to lose focus, especially when you're in the events industry, because you'll go to an event and maybe a client will want you to provide the tents, to provide lighting, to get the sound and everything like that. You can do it. Sometimes we do it for the client, so we just get everything together and provide it for the client and make the event look good. But that doesn't mean we are going to buy now and decide actually all that money that we charge is actually supposed to be ours. So from now on we are going to do tents. We are going to buy tents. We are buying tents. We are doing lighting. We are doing ushering. Like, we'll do everything.
Yeah.
So if you do that, it means the core business that you are doing, you will not focus.
Yes.
So you will not think about the new design or what does the market, to sit and just think, what is the market missing? Like, what new solutions should I bring? If there's a challenge, we'll go to the event and we'll just stick around and see how people are sitting and how inconveniencing is are they, and we create something. And so that even when God speaks and gives us a download, it's very clear. Like, we have space to get ideas about the seats, about the furniture that we're supposed to do.
Because there's a focus.
There's a focus. Yes.
Yeah.
So
you're not all over the place.
We are not all over the place. Yeah.
But it's an element of greed. It's an element of greed and obedience. Number one, you want to do everything. That means you don't have to do everything. Do what God asked you to do. And number two, stick to your lane.
Yeah.
Because immediately you start saying, now I'm crossing over here. Because I think they say that very talented people as well, they become a master of nothing. Because you can do everything.
Yes.
And that's not right. You're not supposed to do everything. You're supposed to partner with other people.
Yes.
And together we create this masterpiece.
Yes.
Especially because that was what God said.
Yes.
He said furniture.
Yes.
Stop adding things.
Yes.
He didn't say.
Coming up with good ideas.
With good ideas, and now it was a God idea.
Yes,
Which brings me back to that point of you start well, but you're not finishing well.
Yes.
Because you started with God, but somewhere you've lost him along the way.
Yeah.
You've lost him along the way, and you don't have to get everything. Where are the other people going to get also?
Yeah.
Exactly.
It should be enough for everybody.
It should be enough for everybody.
And the reality is, even in terms of your own growth, you're more likely to grow if you're focusing as opposed to scattering everywhere. Because let's say a client pays 1 million shillings and they've paid to you so that you can pay everybody else and you only kept 100,000. That's where greed checks in and somebody thinks, I could also have kept the 900.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was too much to
That
give
will
out.
be the beginning of your downfall.
It is.
Because
Truly.
what happens is I would then say, let me now bring my own tents. I will never be the best in tents. There's somebody who's leading that area. I will never be the best in sound. I will never be the best in food, in flowers. You get? So what you're doing is you're watering down
your
Exactly.
gifting and your creativity.
Exactly.
By getting into everything.
Exactly.
And you're denying other people who have been called into that space to do what they're supposed to do. Because what we're saying is you are called into this space.
Yes.
And God gave the specific download. Stop adding other things. I think that's such a powerful way to end. I've really enjoyed that. And God bless you, and God increase you.
Amen.
And the furniture now belongs to us. Thank you.
And the set looks amazing.
Yes, it does. But you see, it's all because of you that the set looks amazing. So I'm really grateful for partnering with us and making us look good as well. And I think it brings another SK Blueism.
Yes.
That we're in the era of access.
Yes.
We are.
Not the era of ownership.
Yes.
Just like Uber is access,
Exactly.
Airbnb is access,
Exactly.
Starabu for us, access.
Exactly, because like you've said, furniture, a big organization can also have that furniture for themselves.
They can.
But they prefer not to own it, they prefer to access it.
Yes.
So when we need the furniture, we'll call you. We don't want to know about where you're going to store it, who you're going to employ, how you're going to carry it. My event is in 2 days, bring it, and as soon as it's done, please take your
it
stuff
away.
away. So all they want to do is access it.
Yes.
And we're glad to be in that space.
Yeah. We really, I'm grateful that you're in that space. So God bless you. Thank you for watching. I pray that, and there are too many nuggets. There's so many nuggets in all that we've talked about. And I pray that it helps you to streamline your business, streamline your ideas, and stay true to what God has called you. God bless you. Bye-bye.